This episode is brought to you by Box Up Nation, a shop based out of Dallas, Texas that provides you with the best equipment trusted by the pros. Box Up Nation understands finding the right equipment can be extremely difficult if you are new to the equipment scene, but don't worry, they have you covered. Box Up Nation only sells the best high quality equipment on the market, and they carry highest rated brands that you've seen here on the channel, such as Everlast, Hit and Move, Bryant Boxing, Adidas, and much, much more. They even carry brands like Fly that are based in the UK right in stock so they can ship quick to you. If you are looking for a one-stop shop to suit all of your professional boxing equipment needs, look no further than Box Up Nation. Head to boxupnation.com or follow them on their Instagram at boxupnation to see what news they have and what awesome gear and deals they have going on. Thanks to Box Up Nation. Let's get on with the video. What's up, everybody, and welcome back to the Combat Corporation, your source for combat sports. I'm your host, L, the Postmaster Morrow, and today I have a gear review on the Everlast Powerlock 2 training gloves. Alright folks, as always, I am incredibly excited to bring you yet another gear review, as today I have the Everlast Powerlock 2 training gloves. And this is the successor, obviously, to the original very popular training glove, the Powerlock. It's also a very popular fight glove that a lot of people have used in the past. Some names in MMA and boxing, talk about Conor McGregor used them in his big fight with Floyd Mayweather. TJ Dillashaw uses them to train with. Kamaru Usman used them to train with. Then you also got guys like Deontay Wilder, Errol Spence. You name it, a lot of champions are obviously backed by Everlast, being the oldest boxing brand really there was and ever will be, and probably the most famous boxing brand, I'd have to say, in the world. I mean, obviously, if it's in your Walmart, you got something going pretty good there. If it's that publicly, available. And you can actually get the synthetic version of the Powerlocks at Walmart, at Dick's Sporting Goods and stuff for about 40-50 bucks, but these are the Powerlock 2s, which are also being sold in stores, but these are the actual professional model in laces. They're not in Velcro, and this is also in full leather construction. Unlike the cheaper version that you get in those stores, is all synthetic leather construction, and it's built a little bit different. It's not nearly as high quality, I guess is the easy way to word that. And they did that with the original Powerlock, and they're doing it with the Powerlock 2 as well. So I saw a lot of people start getting the synthetic Powerlock 2s. A lot of beginners in my school, at my gym, are really starting to use that and use those. You see a lot of guys at the boxing gym too are starting to use those, and they like them. And I like them a little bit better than the original Powerlocks in some areas. I also dislike them a little bit more than the original Powerlock in some areas. So we're going to talk about that today. But I was excited because I saw guys like C Squared and Fit the Box review them. I said, oh man, Everlast is finally releasing some new stuff. It's been a few, 5-6 years since they really started to do that. Last big glove release I remember them doing was the Elite, like the professional Elite glove, and those were cool. I like those a lot, actually. Everlast did a good job with those. And then I'm just waiting for Protex 4, because I haven't seen a new Protex in a long time, and the Protex 3 was probably my favorite Everlast glove there is. But without further ado, let's go into the exact model I have, and that is the neon green and black colorway. So Everlast definitely got a little different with their colorways here. It is in 16 ounces, and it is in lace-up closure. I did change the laces. I usually hate flat laces, but they were the longest laces that I saw at the store. I changed the laces because the laces they came with for me just weren't long enough, so I got really long hockey laces, and they work pretty well, actually. I was surprised by that. And you can get them anywhere from 10 to 16 ounces. You can also get them in Velcro closure, and they got a bunch of cool different colors going on with these. I know C Squared, I actually saw him do a review of his, and there was like a sea blue turquoise type color with and that was a colorway for that. Then there's like standard black and white, then there's white and gray, there's a solid red and black color as well, which is really cool. But for me, this stood out because you don't don't see stuff like this from Everlast that often, I guess. You know, Everlast had a couple cool little colorways with their gloves. They had the white and gold, black and gold. They had the, you know, the pink and black kind of colorations. Then the standard red and blues, black and yellows, stuff like that. But this is a neon, like greenish yellow color, which is interesting to say the least. But let's go into the look of the glove. Talking about most of the glove is that nice neon yellow color, except for the back. Obviously you got that nice, and it's a really standout logo. All right, that's the one thing I'll say about Everlast is they tell you that this is made by their glove. They have a really nice logo. I call it, it's not what it is, but I call it the Everlast swoosh. I think it's supposed to be an E curve some way. Is starting to think about it more and more, but I never really understood exactly what that logo was. And then you got the Everlast right there. I always just call it the Everlast swoosh. But that's a nice big black logo right there. And then you also have some more lettering here on the thumb, which is all black, but it says Powerlock with the O being an actual lock, as you can see. So that's something you got there. And then unlike the original Powerlock, it doesn't say champions or greatness is within on the wrist strap here, on the palm, which is interesting. Usually that's what you get with the Powerlock. So all you got written on it is Everlast and here on the thumb. Then you go to the thumb here. Obviously the laces that it comes with are black, but I got white and black stripes for the laces here. And then on the inside here of the palm and on the wrist, you got that neon yellow as well. Same thing for the piping right here. The piping itself on the glove is black all the way throughout the palm here. Then the palm here, you got neon yellow stitching, black grip bar, black palm here, black inner thumb as well. So it's actually a pretty nice standout glove as far as the look goes. It looks really, really nice, which is always a positive. So I really like that they have that going on there in general. Talking about the outer shell, something that Everlast really surprised the hell out of me with is the leather is a full grain leather. It's a really high-end, smells like a really nice quality leather, which is one thing I like about that. You know, with the original Powerlocks, the leather felt really brushed. It felt like a Hayabusa Kentucky where it was kind of brushed, not very thick material over the knuckles. But I tell you what, you can hear just that leather crease sound, and I love that. And it has a decent thickness of leather over the padding that you got going on here, which is something I didn't expect Everlast to do. So the outer shell feels like a brand new shoe, and it has that nice leather smell. The other ones did too, but they didn't feel this nice. It's a very soft leather too. That's the other thing of how supple this leather is really what surprised me the most about this. It's not stretched too tight over the padding. It's a very nice soft leather, and it feels good to the touch, and it honestly feels nice on your face. Now, I wouldn't say it feels nice to get hit with. Nothing feels good. It doesn't feel good to get hit. Whoever tells you that is lying to you. But you know, that's the one thing that I was really surprised about. That and the padding on the inside is nice and soft. I'd say it's maybe a little bit more dense than the original padding, but you got a 5-layer, they call it the ergonomic foam padding on the inside, and it is curved downward. So just like the Powerlock, when you ball your fist, it has you in that natural punch position when you just have your wrist resting like this and you punch directly forward and you twist over like that. And so that's the nice thing about this glove, is that it is contoured that way. The other thing that they did that changed it up, you know, if you look at the double stitching going back here, you can see there's 2 places where the laces can rest. You got the top one, right? And let me actually, you know, ball the laces down a little bit so you can pull it. There we go. You got the top, and then it goes all the way to the bottom. Boom. And now you have 2 independent lace tracks, whereas the Powerlock one was a flat wrist. So that was something some people complained about, because if you tied it here, unless you taped it, the laces would just start to slowly creep down here, or you'd have to come up and pinch the wrist. There's no need for that, because actually where you put your glove or your hand in this glove, it actually rests your wrist right in the right spot. My wrist is resting here. It's a bit of a longer glove in my opinion, but my wrist is resting here. So when I come here, that's a nice secure feeling over my wrist, right in the good spot. So Everlast did a really good job with that, which is really, really nice. You also have some nice foam splinting right here at the bottom for blocking punches when you train, I imagine, to keep your wrist and your arm strong there, which is nice. And that padding reaches all the way down until you have that split right there, which is awesome. And look, like I said, I always with Everlast tend to get Velcro closure, and look how good this stabilizes your wrist, right? It's creasing back a little bit, but look how it stops it with all that foam, this foam splinting at the bottom. So that's good. And the odds of your wrist bending back this far by then, not very big. You know, but overall, it's not a very top heavy glove. It's actually very balanced. If I, you know, balance it on the back of my hand, same thing if I do it about right here in the center. It has definitely a little bit more weight towards the front. Like obviously if I tilt a little bit more, it'll fall that way. But as far as balance goes, it doesn't feel heavier towards the bottom or the top by much. It's a little bit heavier at the top, but not by a whole awful lot. So you got the foam splinting on the back of your hand, and then the foam on the front, you have like those rubberized patches here that they usually put in just to counter the weight. But it's a decently padded palm and wrist. It's not too bad at all. It's just more towards the bottom and right here, underneath the cuff separation right there. So you got the punch surface up here, then you got the cuff separation right there down here, and your whole cuff is nice and padded. Your palm and the grip bar feels really, really good, and you also have those ventilated holes going throughout the palm as well. You can't see it all that well because it's a black surface on the camera, but there are ventilated holes throughout the top of the palm, not in the thumb though. And they are very small holes, that's the other thing. On top of it, you have your basic, you know, polyester nylon lining on the inside, which is foam, actually. It actually has a foam lining on the inside here. Let me open the glove up so you can see a little bit better. There you go. So, just like that. And that's all black as well. And that feels really nice and soft on the inside. The whole inside of the glove is that foam padding type lining to it. And you know what? It's actually stretched pretty tight. So there's no loose padding at all, or no loose lining at all on the thumb or on the back of the hand. Now, the other thing that they did is they have this nice little wrist system on the inside. They kind of took like the T3 version from Hayabusa, and what you do is this flap will come and close over your wrist and hug your hand even more. So when you tie this, you do get a nice secure feeling. Now for the downsides, which is where I get upset about the glove, because for me, Everlast almost had a nice solid 10 out of 10, would highly recommend to everybody. But the only thing that I really don't like about it is the wrist support is good. The only thing about it is it almost feels like it's forcing me to just curve my wrist down sometimes, which can make my wrist like tired a little bit too fast. Let me actually get this nice and tight. There we go. I have a process I gotta go through. Sorry. So if I come here, there we go. Now that's nice and tight, and I can start pulling that. I'll go around like once, and this feels secure on my wrist, you know, but it's almost like I don't want to put the laces there because it's forcing my wrist to like curl down like that, which can be frustrating sometimes. I don't tie it as tight with these gloves, or I don't tell my coach to tie them as tight. And same thing when I get my lace and loop, and they are lace and loop friendly, although everything, you know, the whole point of lace and loop is to make it lace and loop friendly. But it does kind of get a little tight on the wrist, and it does make me want to curl down so much. Granted, you have padding preventing you from really snapping it down. When you punch, it does kind of put you in that position in more of a forced way. You can see like my hand is naturally curving that far down. Like you see how my hand's curving. The knuckles line up flush, which is nice, but I just don't like that. It feels like my wrist is gonna do that, which is gonna make the bones pop upward like that. That's where you see most of the breaks isn't outwards, it's upward actually. So when I punch, I prefer for the wrist to be a bit straighter and not curl me down as much. And the other thing is the thumb isn't too uncomfortable to a certain extent. It's more just very stiff towards the bottom. Like this part here is very, very stiff. Like I had to work the thumb a lot, and it's not a very flexible thumb at all. And I've also smashed my thumb multiple times with this glove because it kind of protrudes past that knuckle padding right there. So I have smashed my thumb a few number of times with this glove, which can be frustrating. I don't like that, but in general, I mean, you can combat it by wrapping your hands, but I just wish it wasn't like that. For me, when I use these, I have to like put my thumb in the center of this and then ball my fist, but then that leaves me, you know, improper technique, leads to injuries. I prefer that just not be an issue to begin with, you know, so we don't want to deal with that at all. But overall, it can just make your wrist kind of tired, because when you're punching, yes, it's kind of putting you in that position, but it's also putting my thumb right there too. So when I hit, right, like that, I can sometimes feel, especially with the bag, your thumb's coming and smashing, or if you turn your hook or overhands over, you're doing that, your thumb comes to the lead. I don't know about you guys, I usually land flush with these knuckles when I try and punch, and my thumb's right there, and that right there was even uncomfortable because of the way that the thumb is positioned. So I mean, the wrist support isn't bad. I don't think you're going to hurt your wrist in these, but my thumb is what kills the gloves for me. It's almost, it hurts to hit the bag with. Sparring with these isn't as bad, but it definitely doesn't feel good. Overall, I mean, the knuckle support is phenomenal. The wrist support isn't that bad. It's just that thumb makes it very uncomfortable. But overall, I mean, Everlast has a pretty good thing going here. So yeah, but without further ado, let's go into the bag work so you can see exactly what I'm talking about. So hitting the bag with the Everlast Powerlock 2s, the knuckle protection is great. It's just my thumb smashes into the bag a lot, and I just don't like that feeling of it. It's comfortable to hit with, and you can wail into it. It's good for your wrist and your knuckles. But overall, I mean, it's just decently uncomfortable. You get a good grip for Thai stuff if you really want it, but I'd say it is more of a pure boxing glove. It's not quite as flexible as the original Powerlock, I don't think, but overall, hitting the bag is nice, but you can see right there, my thumbs just smash a bunch. All right, so here we have the look of the Everlast Powerlock 2, and in general, these gloves look really sharp. I mean, I love how the yellow just pops out, and that black logo comes right out at you too. It's definitely not a color that you see a whole awful lot of in the gym unless you see brands like Fairtex and stuff. So to see another brand pick yellow like this really well is actually really refreshing. Everlast did a really good job to make these gloves look high-end and professional, and on top of it, they're a pretty flashy glove too. They look pretty cool, and there's a Powerlock logo. Enjoy getting hit by these. All right, so my final verdict for the Everlast Powerlock 2 is Everlast, I think, made improvements in a lot of areas compared to the Powerlock 1. I think they're going to be a lot more durable because I think the padding is a bit more dense, and I think that the material, the leather, makes a world of difference in some case. Even if it was a synthetic, a high-end synthetic engineered type leather or vinyl, it's basically what it is, it would make the glove a lot better. But it just felt like the leather on the old ones were more cheap. It wasn't like a top grain, like really high quality leather like this one does. You can tell what's cheap and what's not cheap. There's some brands out there that say it's the highest quality leather, and then the leather just starts to go away. This feels like it's its own unique leather. It feels more like winning, like, I guess is the easiest way I'd word this. And I put these in the protection glove category because when you talk about or defensive glove category rather, when you talk about a defensive glove, you think about something like Grant, and Powerlocks were kind of the counteractive to Grant. It keeps your knuckles very protected, very padded. If you have brittle hands, I think they're very good for you. If you're a puncher, honestly, because of the frontward weight to these, I enjoy hitting the bags with these, except for the glaring issue with this glove. And for me, anyway, it could just be my anatomy, guys, and I want to make that very clear. It could just be my anatomy, the way my thumbs are shaped. I smash my thumbs hitting the bag with these gloves almost every single time, and that's not an error on my end. Maybe it is. Maybe there's a coach out there that's going to say, well, you're punching like shit, that's why, excuse my language. But I don't think personally that's what it is. So I can smash my thumb sometimes, so I have to really adjust where my thumb is. The glove is so comfortable. The wrist support is very, very good compared to the Powerlock 1, in my opinion, because you got those wrist splints. The only thing is, once again, when I put this on, the bottom of the thumb is very tight, especially when I wrap my hands up, you know, and big, let me focus that again, okay, especially when you wear gauze and tape, because like I tell you guys, I genuinely do wrap my own hands with gauze and tape to make sure that a professional can put your hands in these gloves. Ton of room to do that, you know, tons and tons of room to do that. The only thing is when I put more on anything, it feels like it's pushing my thumb down here, and it's very stiff at the bottom, so you definitely want to work that thumb out, or maybe just keep it looser towards the top of your thumb. but my thumb gets tired, and when I punch, no matter what I do, even if I hit over here, I'm hitting the bag, my thumb is like protruding right out, and it hurts, you know, and I don't like that. Can I prevent it from happening? Yes. Is it difficult to prevent from happening? Sometimes, guys, yeah, it is. It's really frustrating. You know, uppercuts, I smash my thumb. Hooks, I smash my thumbs. Jabs, I smash my thumbs. Straight right hands, I'll smash my thumbs, which sucks because the glove is so protective everywhere else. It's so good for your knuckles. It's so good for your wrists. You know, it does kind of curve your wrist maybe a bit too far down. Like if I take this and really tighten it again for you guys, right there, boom, and then I go over here, it's like curving my wrist down almost unnaturally, which can be frustrating. But that's their power lock system, is to guide your hand in a natural punch position. But just look how much further my wrist is going down. So I definitely don't like that. But everything else, I mean, their design where they're trying to get that wrist splint going on here, you know, right in the center, and that little fold that they're doing, I like that Everlast did that, because that is providing more wrist support. It's nice and padded on the inside here too, with that foam rubber type composite thing going on, and you got that as well all throughout the palm here. The back of the wrist has a really nice 5-layered foam, just like the back of the knuckles, which protects it very well. It feels comfortable to punch with, except for the thumb, which is why I wonder if it is my anatomy. So my rating for the glove overall is going to be honestly a 9 out of 10 for just about everyone else, because are there better options for this price point? I think for still $100, they kept that price point for you, $100. You're going to be hard pressed to find gloves that will perform like this for $100 by Everlast too. I don't know exactly how well they'll hold up, because Everlast does have a tendency to kind of fizzle out a little bit quicker than other brands. So I give it like the 8 to 9 out of 10 range for that. But for me personally, because of that thumb, sometimes they're just flat out unusable, and it sucks because I like the glove a lot from Everlast too. They're comfortable and everything else like that. So if I had to give it that scared type of review in that case, I'd give them like a 6 out of 10, because the thumb is just uncomfortable for me. In that, like, it feels like it's too tight on the bottom of my thumb. I smash my thumb a lot when I hit, because that thumb is like purposely protruding you out from the knuckle padding. But I mean, the knuckle padding's so good, it's built really well, and everything else like that. And you know, that's one thing that I just didn't like about the glove, was the thumb. Really, that really killed me. But overall, I think if you have brittle hands, I think it's a great option for you. I give it a 9 out of 10 because I worry about the quality in that part, I guess, with the thumb and everything else like that, just as a scared mark. But if your thumb doesn't smash in these, I think you love these. I think they're great. The other thing is that I don't worry like I do with the other power locks, in that the other power locks are so weak and not that durable. When you punch bags, you basically have to get 2 pairs, one for bag work, one for sparring. And these, I can see you just using one. You know, which is awesome. So I definitely give them a big thumbs up. You know, I was really surprised. I think they did improve in a lot of ways. It's just that thumb was just super uncomfortable, and the wrist curves me down so much. Some people like that, some don't. So that's why I give it like that 8 to 9 out of 10 range. But I'm going to stick right at 9 for most people. I would give it like that scared review of 6 because of the thumb, though. If you have brittle thumbs, you know, tape them a lot more, I would say, if you're going to use these. If that's just my anatomy. That's why I say I'm giving it that rating for me. I think they're awesome. I'm actually going to go ahead and try a Velcro version too, because I think maybe the Velcro version might be different. Maybe I'm tying the laces too tight. I don't know. But that's something that you know, I'm excited to do as well. But guys, without further ado, thank you so much for watching the video. Once again, like I said at the beginning of the video, our sponsor, Box Up Nation, right? This is where I got these gloves, because they're another retailer for Everlast, and they sell really high-end boxing equipment. That's the one thing that I love about Box Up Nation. It's not like some other brands out there or other shops out there. They have the best stuff that all the professionals are using, and they have some brands out there that are kind of harder to get a hold of. He only sells high-quality quality material, does not put anything in the store that he wouldn't use because he's an athlete himself, which is awesome. So check out Box Up Nation, link in the description below. That's where I got these from. You can try them out as well. I always put the link in the description below where you can get them from. So thank you so much to Box Up Nation. They did not send me these gloves. I did pay for these gloves. So with that said, guys, thank you so much for watching the Combat Corporation. 5,000 subscribers we just hit. That's a big milestone, and it was all because of you, and this channel will only continue to succeed because of you. Thank you so much for watching, guys. It means the world to me. Like, comment, and subscribe. Especially comment. Let me know what you want me to review in the next video, and if you have any suggestions for the future. Follow me on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, anything you can think of. I try and get back to everyone as fast as I can, all right? With that said, guys, thank you so much for watching your source of combat sports, the Combat Corporation, providing you with fighter-tested gear reviews. All right, guys, with that said, I'll see you on the next episode. Have a good one.